Are we? Yes. Good morning, beloveds. I'm having a frustrating morning. My own fault, though. I like to take pictures. There's too many pictures on my phone. I have an idle game that I play on my phone. It needs an update. There's not enough memory on my phone for the update. So I'm desperately trying to move photos off my phone onto my computer. Yeah. Because the Play Store's like, oh, here, just delete these apps. You know, the one that you used just 3 minutes ago. No. Hi, baby. There he is. And he knows I'm having a frustrating morning, so he was sitting on my lap. And it helped. And then I had to come do this because I looked up and went, oh, I gotta go. So we have a Dante this morning. And he announced himself when he came in. I wish you guys could hear the cute little chirp that he made as he dashed in here. So, but yes. All right, we are doing your spiritual power. Let's do the housekeeping. The housekeeping is just me reminding you we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. Website is creativelife.org. Constant contact email info@creativelife.org. That will get you one email a week unless something unusual happens. Usually weather related. We live on the Gulf Coast. And the hot links are hot. So if it says click here now, it means it. And it is a blind CC. Nobody's going to see your email. You won't end up on anybody else's email list because of us. So there is that. Now I will mention the social medias merely from the standpoint of we do not monetize them. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So what we ask you to do instead is to go like, subscribe, follow based on which platform you're dealing with. And then engage with the individual posts by sharing, commenting, and reacting to what? No. That table is not stable enough. Let's not do that. I love you. Yes. Okay. You're a very big boy. He's got to be 12 pounds. He has got to be 12. He is huge. When we adopted him and his brother, we took one look at their paws and went, Dante's huge. Like he's at least a third larger than his brother. Okay. All right. Social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. And I am running Rev Ryan across all of the social medias that I am on. So, sorry, cat distracted me. He's sauntered out of the room now, so I should be fixed. Okay, so we are doing Your Spiritual Power, which is a collection. And in this collection, we are almost done. Like, I will finish it in the next few days. We are doing Think Your Troubles Away. And today, we are going to think effectively. Now, the article he read yesterday, I thought was messy. You live your ideas. I got where he was going, but I thought it was a very messy article. So I am holding out hope that today, Think Effectively, will be a much more effective article. I don't disagree with anything in the article. I just thought it was messy. Like, he kind of wandered all over he kept jumping tracks So hopefully Thinking Effectively will be a much more effective article. Now, that being said, if I go back and read the article today, where clearly I seem to be in a better mood, maybe. Although I didn't think I was in a bad mood yesterday. So, I don't know. All right, but that is what we are doing today. And Think Your Troubles Away is a collection of his Science of Mind articles, magazine articles. Which is just really cool. That's why they have a different tone. I don't know if it was the article yesterday, if it was me yesterday, it was both of us, but just every now and again. And I always remind you when I do these are my personal opinions. They're worth exactly that. So remember that. You might like the article. All right. So we're going to think effectively today. There is a great desire in the minds of all of us to feel and believe that each has within themselves a principle or a consciousness or a way of arriving at peace, joy, and plenty. I'm not going to say that it is possible to demonstrate a spiritual tone while we do these things which contradict the truth we seek to demonstrate. On the other hand, I do not wish to compromise our belief because we believe, and rightly, that there is a principle which, if correctly approached and embodied, will work for our good. There has been, throughout the ages, enough experience to prove this. whether we consider part of that experience as the answer to prayer or merely a psychological reaction. Prayers have been answered. Of that, there is not the slightest question. Many prayers have been answered, and many prayers have not been answered in the experience of the human race. We are confronted with a fact, not a theory. We seek to find a theory that will fit the fact. We must first have the fact and then evolve the theory. It is a wrong method to start with a theory and try and compel it to fit the fact to fit it. Such theory has been held among many right-minded religious people. These people have tried to explain this, and they have said sometimes God feels that it is good to answer our prayers, and at other times God feels that it is good to let us suffer a little bit longer. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. This has been a very sincere thought. Personally, however, I do not believe that that is a true thought. Now, that is Ernest. I don't believe it either. I do not believe that God wills suffering to any living soul at any time for any reason. Okay? Now, let me read that again because I agree with him wholeheartedly. I do not believe that God wills suffering to any living soul at any time for any reason. Ernest and I are on the same page. I don't believe that God wills suffering. It cannot be that way, for if God desires us to suffer, then it is certain that we are going to suffer, and all the prayers, wit, and science, and all of the philosophy and religion will not stop that suffering, because that omniscient wills, it decrees, and what it decrees is inevitable. The answer to the question why some people have their prayers answered and others do not is not in the will of God, but in the act of the person. That which is life can will only life. That which is freedom can will only freedom. That which is sufficient unto itself can will only self-sufficiency. We need not bother as to whether or not the will of God is that we shall suffer. The poor do not suffer any more than the rich, but they suffer in a different way. The ignorant do not suffer any more than the intellectuals. From the popular concept, the bad do not suffer any more than the good. It cannot be that limitation and suffering are imposed upon us by the deity. They are the result of ignorance. They are the result of ignorance. Insofar as we express ourselves rightly in accord with the divine harmony, the divine self goes forth anew into expression through us. We are avenues through which God comes and comes more completely into fruition. The Apostle James said, "Ye ask and receive not, because you ask amiss." I do not feel, as many people do, that a prayer for a personal goal is asking amiss. But if our prayer is for a personal good which we would refuse others, it is a prayer based on the belief that the universe is divided against itself. Such a prayer cannot disturb the infinite unity and harmony. But to suppose that one serves the universe or society any better by denying themselves good is to suppose that there is not enough good to go around. When we pray amiss, it is not that we pray for individual good, but that it is that the prayer contradicts the universal good, the divine harmony. Okay. Oh. What? Oh, okay. He got all excited about the highlighter. If we exist for the purpose of self-expression, fullness of expression, joy, and completion. We exist to glorify God, but God is glorified only as God is expressed. Now, see, that's an important point. I do not think we need to have any theological tremblings as to whether or not we have suffered enough. We have suffered more than enough, so far as I am able to deduce. It must be that we are not quite in accord with the fundamental harmony of life. I know someone will say, well, we have no right to ask for an individual good while there is want in the world. There has always been want in the world, and there will continue to be until the majority of people think right and act right. We may look at this proposition from the materialistic viewpoint and say that there is no beneficent God, no final power or mind in the universe which cares. Or we may look at it from the standpoint of a sense of religious restrictions and say that God does not want us to have plenty. But we will find that both points of view are wrong. He doesn't pull any, he didn't hold anything back. He does not hold anything back. But we will find that both viewpoints are wrong. As religionists, we cannot conceive that there is an infinite God who creates a world and countless numbers of people, but fails to create at the same time the way for those people to express life. Since limitation cannot be part of the divine scheme, we must arrive at the conclusion that the universe is not against us. We are against ourselves. In other words, we're getting in our own way. We're getting in our own way. We're getting in each other's way. This ain't on God. Still, there is the question, why is it that some people's prayers are answered and some are not? The answer is in the prayer. There are times when our prayer is in accord with reality, and that prayer is going to be answered. In such cases, prayer is always answered, whether it is prayed in the name of Jesus Christ or Buddha or disregarding all methods. It is a direct statement to God. If a person embraces these three concepts, these three concepts, the unity with good, the belief in good, and the receptivity to and mental equivalent of good, their prayer will always be answered. When a person says, if you are doing the will of God, you will prosper, they are right. But I would say to them, how do you know what the will of God is? Now that is always the question. Okay, well, let's see if Ernest actually answers it. How do you know what the will of God is? The only way we can know what the will of God is to understand the nature of the universe in its final integrity. It is unity. Its purpose is to project life and more life. Consequently, we must be in unity with its oneness, its life. It is ever present. We must feel that it is ever present. It is eternal. We must feel that we are eternal. We must believe that it is in us as we are in it. If we expect the truth to make us free, we must understand what the truth is and how it works. We must not expect God to give us anything that God would withhold from anyone else. Okay. All right. Sorry, that sentence did not go where I expected it to, hence my, what? Where is this going? The universe must be a unity, a harmony. If it is a unity, it has to be a harmony. And if harmony, it has to possess beauty and balance. The average person believing in good, willing everyone good, need not be afraid that their prayer is selfish. And that's the thing. You know, it's like you can't want something that you don't want anybody else to have. If you want it, you got to be willing for everybody else to have it. Does everybody else want it? No. but you've got to be willing for everybody else to have it. Okay. There would have, all right, rewind. There would have to be something of a universal essence in their nature. If I cannot go into a Catholic church and kneel and pray, or into a Buddhist temple, I am unfortunate. The same heart beats in every person's breast. We must come into a universal sense of things. Our own good is good for the world. If we feel that way, why should we feel that God desires to withhold any good? How can we really live while we feel that there is anything in the universe that is not included in the great universal wholeness of things? Spiritual thought penetrates the past and the future and finds the present but a continuity of experience threaded on something which of itself is changeless. The will of God is obeyed when we are in unity. The next thing is belief. Jesus said, "When ye pray, believe that ye receive." He was announcing a law which has an analogy in the physical life. When we wish to harvest crops, we plant seeds. The physical universe is, in the last analysis, is a mental and spiritual thing. It is mind in action. God is a universal presence and a universal responsiveness. God creates by self-knowing. God does not doubt its own self-knowingness. That is why it is that if we wish to use the law of mind, we must not only unify with it, but we must believe it. We must unify, we must believe, we must receive. At which point I've got an echo in my head of something from childhood that all girls pretty much go through, but I'm not going to share it here. We must receive into the mind because the mind cannot contain what it rejects. A thing, so far as the mind is concerned, cannot be true and false at the same time. I cannot speak a lie as though it were the truth. I cannot say I believe and by saying it believe. But if I really believe, I know that I believe. I cannot say I receive if there is a doubt. We are trying to analyze the thing necessary to assure the answer to prayer. What we know, we can prove. What we want to know by having lived and proved. Okay. We must believe. We can receive only an equivalent of what we believe. I am not in sympathy with people who say that everything is all right when it is not. The person who is confused cannot demonstrate peace while they remain confused. It is only as they drop their confusion and enter into a state of peace that peace abides in them. We must embody. Can anything emanate from us unless it is first in us? We must expect to be able to demonstrate or have our prayers answered today according to the degree of life we embody today. Mm-hmm. Oh. But we are ascending, enlarging, expanding all the time. Out of the experience of today, we will know a greater good tomorrow. So there will always be expansion. The universe never disputes, contradicts, or denies itself. It is not alone what the intellect announces, what the mouth speaks, or the conscious thought thinks. In the last analysis, it is our whole inward thought, what psychology calls the subjective state of our thought, which decides. And this is where the practice of science of mind comes in. If we say, I guess God did not want me to have that good for which I prayed, this is the reason it is not always done at once. If the subjective state of our thought denies what our objective thought says, it neutralizes that objective thought. Yep. Ooh, okay. Oh, my highlighter is just almost gone. Almost gone. In the old order of thought, we had what we called praying through. This does not mean praying through God, but through our own minds. It means praying until our conscious thought believes and our subjective thought no longer denies. Praying until all doubts are removed. We do the same thing now, but we do not call it that. It is dressed up a little differently and it seems more intelligent, we think. When we say we treat, what do we mean? Spiritual mind treatment is a mental adjustment. It is doing something to the mind so that the mind will no longer deny, so that the mind no longer denies or refutes the idea which it embodies in a treatment. The person should feel that they are surrounded by a creative mind which receives the impress of their thoughts and acts upon it. They are in this mind and this mind is in them. The power by which they think is this mind in them. Their mind is not another mind, but that one mind manifesting as the individual, as themselves. Each of us, as an individual, evolving into reason and freedom, is continuously using that mind at the level of our consciousness. The greatest thing that has ever come into the world in the entire history of its evolution is the conscious recognition that there is a creativeness in our own minds, which uses a creativeness that is infinite, that each person in the integrity of their own soul can enter this universal goodness and take from it as much as they are now ready to receive. And it just ends there. So yeah, I'm a whole lot happier with this article. And that's, it is a mental adjustment, and it is about making sure that our subconscious mind is not denying what our conscious mind is saying, because we can say whatever we want. We can say whatever we want, but if we don't believe it, it's not going to happen, you know? So in faith believing, that's why I appreciate that he calls it the spiritual mind treatment is a mental adjustment. It is about us getting out of our own way. So, yep. Why are some prayers answered and other prayers not? Because we don't believe that they should be answered. And sometimes it is so deep in our subconscious that we are completely unaware of the fact that we don't believe that we can have this. That's why a good therapist is a good thing. You know, like if you look around your world and you don't like the way it looks, then you got some thinking to do, you know. And I agree with Ernest. No, we don't have to suffer. And it's not that we're choosing to suffer. It's just that we've been told that we should suffer. And we don't, the world has learned enough from suffering. Let's get off, let's get off on the other foot. So we need to get into that subconscious, look into the shadow side and go, okay, what's in there? Let's shake out that closet and find all that stuff in there that we keep letting get in our own way. And remember, whatever you want for yourself, you gotta want for everybody. That's the other part of the rule. All right, beloveds, I really got to go. So let me wrap this up really quickly by encouraging you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day. And let's wrap this week up day. Can you believe Christmas is next week day? Hey, are you ready yet? Because I'm not, and I don't think I will be. But that's okay. I'm fine with that. Drink plenty of water day. Bundle up a little bit today. It's a little cooler today. Cuddle your fur babies day. Tell somebody you love them day. Make sure you make it a point to sit down today, because I know the closer we get to this, the busier everybody gets. Take a break day. Rest day. Do something good just for yourself day. Do what you got to do day. Let's wrap this week up day. You got this day, a good day, and if that is too much pressure, because right now it could be, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call it, you are a godling. Okay? Explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. It's all the divine knows. And from there, anything is possible. All right, beloveds. I get to go to the park tomorrow, so I will see you around 9-ish tomorrow. Reverend David should see you around 5 today. And then, like I said, I'll be back after the park. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you